Hello, Revernauts. It's Chief Engineer Rever. And once again, we are looking down on our space station. And if you had watched the last episode, you might be able to guess if you remember what we're going to do. We are going to bring Pajar in the big mess of... Look, we do have some activity going on. The big mess. Here he is, getting relatively close to Kerbal, right? We'll click on him. I hope you guys can pick all that out of the lines, but there he is. So let's fly over to him. We can see him in person. Make sure he's still alive, right? I know he's alive because I just fast forwarded it 10 seconds ago. So he was doing quite well. One thing I did notice, we got another contract complete. Launched the Kerbin space station. Okay, so that was the 2 days we were waiting for, which is good because this mission, the next part of this that we were going to do, the reason we launched all those satellites is because we wanted to dock with the Kerbin space station and bring up a science station, right? So now what we can do is do a little bit of docking practice at that point. Now the other one was we have escaped the gravital invitation of the influence of the moon. Sorry about that. All right, so there we go. So where is Kerbin? Oh, there we are. All right, so now our maneuver node, which I deleted just because it was arbitrary, just to remind me. But we probably have about 10 minutes before we get back. So let's fast forward, let's say times 50. And then, you know, we just blasted right from the moon, one burn. And it's looking pretty good here. I think we need to make a little bit of preparations when we get down to what we could do him right now. But I don't want to cut off his power any sooner than we have to. There we go. So why did we... Oh, we do have a maneuver node. I thought I deleted it. I guess I didn't. That's okay. There we go. Just an arbitrary thing that, you know, we could have fast forwarded time right to this point. But I wanted to show you guys us approaching a little bit quicker. So let me just do 10 times. I want to get down to about 100 meters. And then we could talk about cutting off and folding up some things, right? Like he doesn't really need, I don't want them burning up when he comes back in. But hey, just in case anything really strange were to happen, which I really doubt's going to. So 70,000 meters. So we'll get down to about 100. That was a pretty good burn. I don't usually do that well. I usually have to make more of an adjustment. But we did it. Oh, we're down to 80. Good enough. So what we can do is start closing up these things, right? First we can, let's do the final, like get rid of the engine, right? Let's make sure he has a heat shield under there. Yep, nice heat shield. We can fold up the satellite dish, right? Just so that we get the money back for it when we... Now he won't have any communications, but that's all right. We're not an unmanned craft, right? And then we can, yeah, let's retract all. Hopefully they retract before they burn up. I was a little bit slow there. Good. They're retracted, so they should survive intact. If they don't, just hopefully they don't burn up the rest of the thing. Now we can come up to our Kerbal thing here. Show engineer heat. Turn off the vessel. So what is the command pod itself is getting quite hot, right? So there we go. We're coming back in. Pajar is still quite happy over there down in the corner. Oh, look, there he goes. Something's blowing up over there. Which is kind of what you want, right? Like in real life, you kind of want things to burn up and get destroyed. We got a little bit of... Oh, okay. Something was turning red there, but yeah, it looks like we're in pretty good shape. Now, the other thing, let's move this up. Once we get down a little further, well, actually slow down is the bigger issue. There we go. Now we're in no point of no return. We're in no kind of an orbit. Our orbital velocity is too low, which is good because that's what we want, right? So once this gets down to around 1,000, the heating should do it. So yeah, look, good. That's exactly what you want. Say our heat shield is the most critical part. Let's fast forward a little bit, just because it takes quite a while. Now, you can come in a little bit steeper than I do. I know some people do, but there we go. Just slow down, see how we're doing. Yeah, we made it through. Now, hopefully, I think we'll have enough parachutes. But let's go ahead and deploy the last stage, right? So they should be ready to go when we get down to the right altitude. So we're going to fast forward again. Let's zoom out. And I want to slow down again just to make sure these things deploy. There we go. They deployed. All right, now if we're... Now they're fully deployed. All right, so let's see. Do we have any science that we can still do? No. No, we're in good shape. So let's just fast forward it. Yeah, I guess maybe we could do some science over land or whatnot, but well, he really kind of hit the middle of the ocean, didn't he? Good thing he doesn't have to swim. I don't see any naval support vessels here to pick him up either, though, you know? But yeah, we're coming in nice and slow. This is a good... If we can do this same thing... It was awful violent seeming. Part of it was because we were in 4 times speed, but there we go. So... Can we do a material study? I thought we already... No, we can't do a material study. We could do a surface sample. Yeah, let's do an EVA. And then can we... Yeah, can we keep that? Yeah, good. EVA report. No science there. Okay. Good, so let's get back in so we don't end up leaving him in the water, and then we should be able to recover the vessel. So that was a very successful mission, even though we kind of completed the mission before we even got there, which is a little weird. Look at that, nice, 170 science earned. So it was well worth doing, even if... Yeah, well, again, and we got the mission completed. I don't know that we would have without launching this, though I don't know exactly how we got it completed, but you get the idea. There we go. Oh, look, we gained 3 experience, though that wasn't enough to get him up to that. But, yep, he has more bars, right? So hopefully we'll get him up to another experience level. Why is this open? I don't know. World first milestone again. We have returned from a flyby of the moon. We have returned home from orbit of the moon. Okay. Yeah, there must be some kind of glitch in that. You know, sometimes with mods, things aren't... Well, sometimes with games, things aren't perfect. But there we go. We are back at the space station. Not the space station, the space center. Anyway. All right, good. So everybody's back safe or floating around in space safely. So let's go take a look at mission control here. Look, we got plenty of money. We got more science. Now, the good news is the more you do, the more science you get for the things you do, right? You don't get as much for science around Kerbal, but as we go more extreme, we got rescue and recovery missions, which is a good way to add people to it. I'm not sure how exciting they are, but we're down to only 4 active contracts. So let's see the SETI contract. I was hoping to get, yeah, man, Kerbal orbital docking, right? So what about, isn't there another one? Yeah, launch a probe. Yeah, so we're going to get this one into orbit around Kerbin. Then we want you to launch a manned vessel and dock with it. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Oh, we already have that one accepted. So let's go back to all, and it is science stations. That's it, right? Add an extra science lab to a base is what I was hoping. Must have a base, not a base. Oh, did I really misread that? Yeah, these 2 we're working on. Perform a telemetry report. I thought there was one. Yeah, add this one. What is... You may only have 3 offered... Okay. Oh, I don't want this one. What is this? Ah, so we need to do a telemetry report and return with the experiment, which is good, right? That's good. Now, when it comes to this one... Okay, so I think this is just a matter of waiting Is it just 2 hours? Yeah, this one... Yeah, so if we waited 2 more hours, this one would free up, and then I would hope... Yeah, so this is unmet, and this... Have a base... No, wrong one again. Must have a station with a mobile processing lab. Without... Well, yeah, we do. Oh, is that not... Well, let's just go take a look. Because sometimes they don't categorize it as a station, right? So we need to make sure it's a station. So it would be Space Station 1, right? So what is this considered? Let's come over here. Yeah, see, is that a station? Yeah, it is a station. Why are you telling me unmet? Is it because we don't have any people in it? Add a mobile processing lab to a station. Yeah, we met that one. Yeah, well, the offered contracts must have a station without a mobile processing lab. Yeah, I don't know why that one's not met. So are we just going to have to go up there and dock with it? But then the problem will be probably we can't retroactively do this contract, right? Like, is it because we don't have any people? I don't understand why we can't do this one. All right, well, let's see if something happens. Let's go over to here. And, yeah, Mimus and Kerbal. Manned orbital docking. Launch the moon space station. So is there anything else on our alarms? No, let's just fast forward a couple hours, right? Let's do 1,000 times. All right, I don't think anything bad's going to happen because of this. There we go. So we got 4 minutes. Let's do 10 times. Let's do 50 times. 1 minute. We survived. Okay, good. All right, so now let's just see if that contract complete. Very good. 295,000 to get that up there. So even if we didn't get it working properly, and I know we probably could have done some things in between, but let's get out of here, and we'll come back over to mission control. There we go, 2. Crew a station. Yeah, the annoying. It's pretty annoying. This. Well, we'll have to see. Yeah, crew. Okay. Well, good. This is good because this will go right in line. Maybe we don't bring up a science lab this time, but this will be real good because it'll give us a little bit of practice. We'll get, whatever we do for this one, we will do to get Steve and Chunk some help, right? So in other words, well, let's say we come back here. Well, I don't know if this is the best place to look, but the fact that we can do this and we can get up to our space station. Where is our space station? Let's go fly in it for a minute and see how it's doing. Space Station 1. And we take a look, so that way when we go to design our little part, I don't know why this flight engineer keeps opening like that, but there we go. So we are in the dark right now, but how is our batteries as a general? Yeah, we're in good shape. So we need to get somebody up here to dock with this, which is fine. We have regular docking ports. And what else do we have on this guy? We have plenty of RCS fuel to maneuver. We got an inline stabilizer, big battery. Yeah, so we really just want to bring, I guess, someone up here to dock with it, right? And I don't know that it has to be anything but a pilot. And what else would we add to this thing, right? Yeah. So I'm just, I think, it's pretty self-sustained as it is. And I think we can, just bring somebody up like I don't know if we even want to, let's just make it like a orbiter that can then like bring people down, right? So that we could like fly out to these space stations and then come back to Earth with either experiments or with whatever else we wanted to, right? So we'll do something like very similar to what we did with the Moon Orbiter, but it'll be designed to dock here and then also once, undock and then return back to the Earth with people, right? Just like they do with the real space station. The whole idea behind the space shuttle, but we're not going to build a space shuttle just yet or ever. All right, so let's go back to the Space Center. And then what I would like to do is let me cut the video here just so I think the design process is kind of interesting, but it also is sort of time consuming. We'll come into the vehicle assembly. And I think I'm going to, let's look up the Minma station. It would be the manned, is it manned moon? Is that the one we just, yes. So what we want to do is I'm going to start with this and I'm going to make some modifications so that we can, launch this guy. Like we'll take this off, will be like a no doubt about it. Then when it comes to coupling, we'll do a clampotron, right? Oh, that's a junior. Yeah, you want the regular full-size one, as goofy as that looks. Right, you get the idea. So we might, let's see, we need the clampotron so this guy could attach, but maybe what we do is, instead of doing the Mark 1, I'll do like a bigger pod, right? Like we'll make it, because we want to pilot probably most of the time, even though we could always control it by remote, right? But when it comes to remote docking, I think I'd feel better about doing it with a pilot. But then we'll get a bigger command pod so we can maybe get even like 3 Kerbals up there at one time. And well, let's see how it goes. I'll be back in a minute when I've come up with something that can carry at least 3 Kerbals up there, and we'll see. All right, talk to you guys in a minute. Okay, here we are. We have designed a ship, or I have designed a ship. And let me show you the features. Let's start with the top, and we'll work our way down, right? Now here's my thinking. In the future, we can use this docking port to unclamp another vessel in the top, right? Now we may struggle because we really kind of need an upgrade. I did go and get 2 upgrades to our command pods in order to be able to get this one that will hold 3 people. Does it say that? Yeah, seat 1, 2, 3, right? So it does have a reactionary wheel, and then we have another reactionary wheel on here. So we should have plenty of that for this last stage. We have RCS thrusters. We have communications. We have a little bit of science. I'm not sure how helpful that'll be, but I know being able to bring back some material studies or even do some should get us a little bit of extra science. We may take this off of some missions, right? So the idea behind this is that it's just the command portion. Now, of course, in the future, we could consider bringing people in, like breaking this off here at the heat shield and then like adding more crew seats if we really want to bring more than 3 people. But we got some lights to be able to see what we're doing when we're docking. We've got a battery. That's the stabilizer again. And then we have this reel chute stack. So I'm always at a bit of a loss to know if I have enough parachutes. So I threw 2 extra radial chutes on there. So I'm sort of hoping that that's enough parachutes for us. So I think that this is everything we would need to perform a good docking. And we have a, what do you call it? The bigger poodle engine on here. So we should have plenty of thrust, to maneuver around and get us back into space. I think we have, good 400 or 500 extra delta V to maneuver around. So here's the staging plan. And I left it like this. This isn't the final one, just so I could show you guys the delta V. So this second, well, I guess it's really like the 3rd stage of actual burning. Like this would be the final stage here, this poodle. But then I plan on burning this Bobcat engine to actually get us into the orbit. And then this bottom stage here is just 2 or 3 stages, right? Or 3 engines. And then I turn down the thrust on these rockets so they're just over 1, right? Like these really wouldn't be able to get us into orbit, but I want to burn these for a while. And then what my plan is as this craft gets bigger, even if we can't afford to upgrade to bigger engines, right? Like with the science, we could add more fuel and, you know, maybe a 4th, like there's another version of this with 4 engines. So we could add more fuel and or boosters, you know, to this to get more oomph if we want to get out to the moon or if we want to take up a bigger payload for, like, you know, getting more people. But this would work, if nothing else, just to get more people out to Steve and Chunk to help them out with their missions, right? Now, as far as the people, I want to bring everyone. Our entire astronaut force will be out there in space. And the main reason for that is I think I'm going to leave Pietro out there in space, right? He can sit out there and contemplate things, fix the ship. He can, you know, he could study some history books about Benito Mussolini and Hitler and Winston Churchill and whoever else he wants to study and ponder over all other considerations, right? So anyway, so there we go. So we have, you know, a ship that I think will make it into orbit. It's not perfect, but I want to keep this pretty small so that it's a little bit easier to maneuver. It's been a while since I docked anything, and I think this will, you know, sort of let us step up, right? So we don't want to call it manned moon. We want to call it, what do you call it? Let's call it station. Oops. Let's make letters right. Station Supply 1, right? Good. So we'll save that. And let's head out to the launch pad. Now we want to try to burn, and hopefully, you know, I tend to, it's been a while since I've played and done this. Now I was getting, at one point in my life, pretty good at it. So let's see, you know, let's see what we can or can't do here. All right, science is right in the way. Yeah, we could surface sample. Let's just get rid of the science. We're not going to worry about that. We could do a materials science study here one day. All right, so now what we want to do is actually come here, right? Now we want to get to this. Oh, you know what? This might not be a bad time to launch. If we launch, this is at an orbit of 110. Yeah, I think I want to launch like right away and try to get into a lower orbit, which means we'll be going faster, right? So in other words, when we're down here, we're going to revolve around quicker in a lower orbit. So let's get in launch. Now, if we find that we get ahead of it, but I think this is a really good place and time to launch. So let's do SAS. And yeah, so hopefully these guys will be able to hold us in it. But I'm hoping I put the 2 of them in here, even though it's unnecessary. Hopefully they'll both get some more experience with this whole docking thing, right? And then because of that, we'll be in good shape, I hope. So let's turn off. Yeah, I'm going to turn off the flight engineer over there. I'm not sure why some of these screens pop open on us. Maybe it's because I had them up. Oh, we didn't do the staging thing. All right, so what I want to do is I want to move these 3 engines down here. So I know that there's enough thrust to get us up here, right? But not quite enough. So I want to take my throttle up to, like, let's say half, right? So we'll burn off some of this fuel, and then the remainder will go. And then we'll be able to control our speed as we go up by turning these up and down. And that means these will burn for, like, much, much longer, more than twice as long as they would have at full mast, full pressure. So then the next stage will be to blow off this section. All right, so let's get going and try to hold this guy right at 90, right? So 3, 2, 1, go. A little more throttle. So far, so good. We're doing all right. And yeah, now the only other problem with burning these rocket boosters so long is that you end up wanting to turn at a certain point, right? Oh, you know what? Yeah, we got a little worried about our fins here being at funny angles. But we seem to be going up fine at this point, right? So let's get turned a little bit to the 90. Again, I don't want to turn too much until we get rid of those boosters. I don't want to get up over 400. I'm going to cut the throttle back a little bit since we burn off some fuel. All right. We're doing okay. We don't have much fuel. We're burning off both of these pretty good. Let's start. I don't turn too much. Yeah, let me cut. We're going to burn out of. Oops. Alright, now once those are clear, let's use this last little bit of fuel to start getting ourselves turned. Stage. Alright, now let's turn to 45. Not the perfect thing here, and I'm pretty sure the other, I didn't really check the inclination of the other one. We don't want to burn too far away from the yellow ball there because, well, it's not as efficient, right? So we're only burning, what, 2/3 throttle or something? There you go. So see, that ball comes closer to us because we kind of got in the... Let's give it a little more throttle. Yeah, our app-lab, we're catching up with the app-labs, which is fine, right? Like, let's burn a little more throttle. Yeah, I'd like to see us getting ahead of our apoapses there a little bit more than we are. But that's okay. Yeah, we're going to give it full throttle. Increase that apoapsis some, so I'm going to go on the other side of our ball there because we're going to get that up to like 90 here. Getting a little nervous. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough, but yeah, the apoapsis is still increasing. The periapsis height's coming up nicely. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to see right there. Yeah, so we'll get that up to about 90. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. It's actually going pretty well. There we go. 90. Stop spinning. Now let's come over to here. And let's plan on, yeah, see, we'll do a little catching up. Let's add a maneuver to go prograde. Oops. Click on the maneuver. Come over here real quick. Let's bring that back down. Ooh. Yeah, so we need to burn a little bit sooner. Yeah, let's burn a little bit sooner. It doesn't matter that much, right? But we just don't want it to be... There we go, right there. So that'll be a good burn. So let's go to our target here. We got 1 minute on a 15-second full throttle burn. And that'll get us to the point where we're catching up with them, but just kind of hopefully nice right now. Oh, we don't have enough. Yeah, how much delta V do we have? We might not really. Vessel heat. Well, we've got a good amount of delta V in that last stage, so let's hope this goes well. Now, let's come back over to here so we can do the staging. I don't have any solar panels on here. How is our battery charge doing? Not too bad. Well, we're going to take our chances, but yeah, let's just see what happens here. All right, so how long do we have? 33 seconds. We are on our target. Stability assist seems to be doing fine. So let's get ready. I'm just going to go right to like full throttle. And we'll do it around like 8 seconds. Well, let's do it around like 9 seconds because we're going to take a second or two to stage this thing. Let's shut this guy off for a second so we can see. Oop, we missed. All right. Slow it down. Oh, I missed. All right, that might not be too bad. Let's though I think I want to, let's flip us around retrograde grade. Now, let's do this too. Well, we're going to, oops, come on. Set as target. Yeah, so let's, I got too many things going on there, and let's get rid of, we don't need to see all of this either. There we go. So now we can kind of focus in on things, right? So the good news is we're in orbit. We've got a fair amount of delta V, I think enough, right? And even if we just get docked, these guys could all stay up there. So what I'm thinking of is let's put, here, let's get rid of this maneuver, right? So it's not messing us up. So it's going to take us a little while. We probably could have waited till he went around again, but let's see. Yeah, this is about where we're going to be our closest, right? So let's add a maneuver here and just see. There we go. So intersection, this is where we catch up with them. Target position at the intersection is here. So they're going to still be like way ahead of us. So yeah, let's, you know what, I'm going to do something. We are pointing retrograde. I want to bring our periapsis back down a little bit. Right, even though it might not be the perfect time to do it, now is better than later. Oh, that's good. All right, so now what that did for us, here, let's get rid of that maneuver there. What that did was brought this back down so that we're going to catch up better, right? Like, let's see, if we put a maneuver here, like it may take us, add a maneuver, and then we want to burn prograde until, there we go. See, we're still not going to catch up. We're going to be here, they're going to be here. So we have to wait till he goes all the way around. Now we could burn a little more retrograde. Yeah, let's do that. We don't want to get too close. Yeah, there you go. That's so by doing that, we'll catch up with them a little bit faster, right? Because it's our orbit's just a little bit smaller now. All right, so let's speed up some time here. And we'll zip around and see how we catch up with them, right? Yeah, see our orbits. It's sometimes I think it's better to go earlier than them because then you can like always go slower, right? It's a little bit harder to go faster when you're close to Kerbin. So. Yeah, we're getting close. All right, let's slow it down. All right, so now what we want to do is let's turn this off and go over to stability assist. And then what we want to do is burn towards the target, right? So we're going to try to get closer to them. And then once we get closer to them, we want to sort of try to get in the same orbit as them, right? Is that the closer? Yeah, this one. All right, let's take a look because I can kind of confirm what I'm thinking. Yeah, say we're pointing away from the Earth towards them, right? So we're burning towards the target. So we want to get that target speed. Now, can we see them? There they are. See, so we want to get that down, and then once we get out there, we want to burn retrograde to slow down, you know, to get ourselves. So we're gonna burn towards the target. We pulled ourselves out of orbit, so I'm gonna kind of stop there because I don't want to get out of orbit, right? But right now we're getting closer. Let's see what that did to our orbit. Yeah, so we burnt too much into one direction, but we'll get, you know, once we get up to this intersection here, then we can burn prograde along this, which will be like retrograde to the target, right? Does that make sense? Because the target direction will flip at a certain point there. So the good news is we'll be within 5.4 kilometers where we were. Well, let's see, how far are we now? Distance 13, right? So we're getting a little bit closer, but then when we get right about here, you know, we're going to want to correct our orbit there to be in line with them. See, like at this point, we're going to be going too fast, so. All right, there we go. So see, we want to slow down because we're going to go too fast past them in a sense. So this will get us more in line with their position, right? So we want to get that target velocity back down to like close to 0 if we can. All right, see that? So see how we got us, we're very close to their same orbit, right? Now we're going a little bit faster than them, so now we want to switch back to probably even, you know, burn back towards them again. So that this is our speed relative to the target. So now we're pointing away from them. Sorry. Did that twice in a row. There we go. So now we want to like burn back towards them again. Now if you're good, you can like set things up. Bring that ball right in. So you even want to burn over here so that that ball is like, right? So see how, like, without even looking, I got this like real close. So we're gonna only be like 100. Then we can almost start going to docking mode. Now what we're gonna want to do now is we're gonna want to slow down again, right? Now look, see, I can tell we're getting on, like we're really getting close to the same orbit, because when we slow down our orbit, actually we probably want to speed up. Well, no, this is how you do it. This will, we're going to slow down our relative velocity to the target so that we're both going about the same speed. And then you can kind of start relaxing and getting into the other mode, right? All right, so let's Let's get ready. Yeah, we could probably start burning now. Bring down that to about hopefully 0. Nope, that's the closest we're going to get. That's fine, right? So now if we come back over to here, there they are, right? They're like really, really getting pretty close. So at this point, what I would like to do, let's come back to this one, all right? And we need to decide where we're going to dock. Let's see, can we switch to, all right? So where do we want to dock this guy? And I think the easiest thing is usually to dock like inline, but we can do this. So what we want to do is control this from here, right? Yep. And then what I want to do is find us, right? Supply station. Oh, wait, that's right. We want to set as target, right? And then what we can do now is, this is a little bit cheaty in some ways, but see, we're going to click on target there, right? So we should move around, and because we click control from here, it should line this up straight with us, right? Now we're catching up to them a little bit. See how we're getting slowly closer and closer? But I want to just sit in here until we make sure that we're pointing right at us. Now this should hold us as we maneuver, right? So as long as we do it slow enough, this craft will keep pointing that point. Now if we wanted to do it from here, we would set like control from here, right, to this other dock. Does that make sense? Yeah, now we're starting to get further away, so I definitely want to get back over there. Now, I don't know why we're... There you go. All right, so let's get back over to here, and then we'll click on this. No, don't warp there. No, stop that. Yeah, switch to. All right, so now we know that that guy, and you can even kind of, I don't know if you can tell on YouTube especially, but I can see that where he's pointing right at us, right? So what we want to do now is burn, a little bit slower towards the target, but we want to start heading back over there. And it's going to be kind of the same thing, right? We want to, let's make sure we're trying to, be pretty accurate with this if we can. Now when that orbital path comes in line, and that means the yellow thing, that means we're kind of heading right in the same orbit, right? Now it'll stop moving over, so we can like even cheat over this way a little bit and bring that yellow right in line with us, right? And we're not moving over there real fast, but there's no real hurry. I think if you get in a rush with these things, like you're better off sort of approaching slowly, even if it takes you extra time. See, I'm trying to bring those orbital paths right in. All right, let's cut that, and then I need to get spun around to. No. That didn't go particularly well, did it? Our two pilots. There we go. Let's burn this way. Get that target speed back down. We kind of buzzed right past them, right? There we go. Again, no reason to panic. Let's let that, see how that guy's spinning around, coming to join us. And even though that looked horrible, we didn't hit each other, which was probably, the key. But once he gets pointed around, we can, see where we're pointing towards him, right? So let's burn a little bit slower this time, right? There you go. See how he's coming in towards us? Let's not spin around so much. And if we keep our target. Now, the other thing we can do at a certain point is start doing RCS mode. Now, one of the things I just thought of is that I don't know if I really set this up. A lot of times you don't even need the RCS. See how we're really well lined up? Our only issue for the RCS is going to be slowing down, right? So like, in other words, if we turn on our RCS, I think that's going to slow us to the target, right? Like, so we don't want to come in too fast. So see how that's slowing us down? But I didn't really check my controller, and I'm forgetting which keys I should be on. But as we get closer here, we just want to go really slow, like less than 0.5. You know, there's... But the real key is turning that other... You almost need like two people, right? Like... There we go. That should be... They should be able to dock up just like that. As long as we hold... No. Turn the RCS off. I just want to point. I kind of messed it up there. Hopefully they'll bump nicely, and I just want to hold right on that dot. There we go. See that? So I held right on the dot. Now, you know, we could put it. Oh, why can't we put it? Oh, because we're... Yeah, turn this off. Or turn that off. Oh, you know what? We can use... Now that we're docked to the... You know... There we go. So now one of the things I'm curious about is, can we just transfer people, right? Like, because they, you know, they'd have to climb through all that stuff. Like we said, we'll leave Pietro out there. So let's go Pietro. Oh, we don't care about his inventory. Let's Pietro. And then the screen's right in my way. Yeah, so there we go. So Pietro... Yeah, Pietro's inventory. He is now in our space station. So, world's first milestones. Boy, it did come back to me. I was a little bit nervous, especially being on YouTube, that I was really going to mess that up. All right, so we have performed a rendezvous maneuver around Kerbin. We have started construction of the first space station. We have performed a docking maneuver, and we have performed a crew transfer. Okay. Very good. You have successfully crewed the Space Station 1. Good job, guys. Plus, now we, you know, can talk about what else we're going to do. We burn off a tiny bit of monopropellant. You know, obviously, like we said, we were going to leave them up there. I think we'll just, you know, call it an episode here, just as much because it's kind of like that time. But then... You know, these guys should be okay floating around up here for a while, I would hope. And then we can decide to bring whoever back down, but probably Radomir and Pajar are pilots. And then we'll have a, you know, poor old Pietro will be up there thinking about Benito. Okay, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the episode. Take care of yourselves and have a good day. Bye-bye.